Welcome back to another episode of RNT Fitness Radio. Today I'm joined by one of our clients out in Australia, Ivan, and his RNT coach, the Hitman, to talk all about his journey in going from lean to shredded. Ivan's a trainer himself, and he understands the value in accountability, objectivity, and guidance that having a coach can bring. He came to us at a point where he'd been in good shape before, but he wanted to really get into crazy shape this time to set a real example to his clients as to what can be achieved. We also dive deep into the importance of knowing what makes you tick, how he's used being an introvert to his advantage, and also his crazy sleep schedule of waking up at 1 a.m. every day. It was fun chatting with Ivan, and I hope you enjoy it as much as we did. You had a good day?
It's been a very good day. I just sent Nathan a nice little update. I had another little in-body today. And yeah, just a crazy last 5 weeks it's been. And yeah, my lean mass just keeps going up from the reverse diet. So I've been holding 3% on in-body for the last 5 weeks while increasing calories from 2,200 to 38.
Wow.
And just getting fuller, tighter, more vascular. It's fucking crazy. I'm just waiting for me to just get fat, but it's just not happening, eh? So yeah, it's been a good day.
So why do you think you've stayed so lean despite almost doubling your calories?
I seriously think it's the activity, man. Nathan and I were talking about it, and it's just like, yeah, it's just keeping the cardio up. And obviously now, what I did notice was just a huge increase in performance across everything, like my cardio, my cycling, which we'll probably get into later. But even my strength training, like all that is just like skyrocketing in regards to performance as well, which is nuts. Yeah, I don't know. I think I just must be expending a lot of energy somewhere.
And yeah,
so yeah,
and you enjoy having the keeping the cardio up and the steps up and
man, I love it. Yeah, I literally the cycling has become like something that I just do every morning. It's like a non-negotiable. It's crazy, but yeah, now I'm introducing intervals, and Nath was like, you want to maybe sort of do some sort of competition, something to aim for, because the love for it will fade. But to be fair, nah, man, it really gets me going for the day. Hey, like I have so much mental clarity from the get-go. It's like the perfect way to start my day. So I don't think I'm going to let that go for a while. But yeah, so yeah, it literally be an hour on the bike, and just within that hour, I'll just intersperse the cardio with 1 minute sprints. I know that when I was coming out of the diet, I was only managing to get maybe 6 or 7 sprints between over the hour, and now easily the last couple of days I can easily just get 10 sprints with super high resistance, and I can literally recover. I've been doing this daily the last 5 weeks, ever since Nathan was like, yeah, cardio up to an hour every day. And I was like, okay. Initially I was like, fuck, I'm going to lose all my leg mass. Yeah, not really what happened at all. So
really? Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's been nuts, which I'm sure we'll get into later.
So what is your day-to-day like?
Day-to-day from moment I wake up?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, I'm just going to give a disclaimer for anyone that does hear this. I don't recommend this to anybody. This is what has worked for me. N=1. I'm a bit of a weirdo. So my day literally starts anywhere between 12:30 a.m., 1 a.m.
So what?
12. I usually wake up 12:30 to 1 a.m. This is my body clock.
Okay.
We'll get into this later.
Okay.
I'll literally wake up around that time.
Is that natural? You wake up naturally at 1 a.m.?
Yeah. So
Okay.
my GP, she said I've got I'll get to this later, but like it's called advanced sleep phase disorder, where your circadian rhythm has shifted forward massively. But she goes, look, you're not going to suffer any health defects at all. Like, you're still getting your hours of sleep. You just go to bed real early. The only thing that really suffers is your social life. So if you're cool with that, then you're going to be fine. I'm like, that's all right. So, usually my day starts around 12:31 a.m. I'll get up. I'll have a liter of water every morning with a bit of lemon and salt. I'll have a double espresso. I'll have some with L-theanine, which another one of Nate's recommendations, which was really, really good. Then from there, because I live in an apartment complex, so we got like a little studio gym in the whole complex that everyone can use. I've bumped into a few people at like 1 a.m. in that room, which has been really weird. So I'll hop on the treadmill for about 20-30 minutes, and I'll just walk until I have a bowel movement. Because again, I'm sure people who do cycle, the last thing that you want is to try to cycle with like that feeling of fuck, I need a shit, but I don't. So I find the coffee, the lemon, the salt, and just that walking. I find that just gets things moving a lot quicker, right? So I'll do that. Usually takes about 20 minutes. Bang, like clockwork. And then once that's done, straight onto the bike. That's where my cardio will start from whatever. It could be anywhere from like 2 to 3 a.m. 2:15 to 3:15, whatever it is. It's literally, I feel so alert from 1:30 all the way through till 9 a.m. is like my time to shine. But so I'll do my cardio for an hour. I'll do my intervals. I'll come off all euphoric. I'll go back to my apartment. I'll have like a little bit of carbs. I'll have some EAAs. Just prepare for the day. Prepare my food. Prepare my clothes. And then I'll head off to my gym that I train at, which is like a very gymnastics-based gym. I have my own key to get into the place, which is cool. So I'll literally start training at around 3 a.m., 3:30, something like that. And that's resistance training straight after cardio. I know I'm going to lose all my muscle. I'm going to deteriorate. I'm going to have such a big interference effect. Yeah, I've lost all my strength. So I'll train from like 3 till about 4:30. And that will usually be just, gymnastics-based stuff depending on the day. And then at 5 a.m. I'll have my first like solid meal. And then that'll take me a good 20-30 minutes. It's like a little ritual that I've made. Like literally every eating experience is just like unbelievably rewarding. I don't know why. I think I've developed some sort of weird disorders. I think it's Nathan's fault.
It's probably because you're so lean. It's probably because you're so lean and you're in that stage of just finishing like a really hard diet. So you're still in that novelty phase where food still feels like extra special than normal. Even though you're on 3,000, even though you're on 3,800 calories, you're still super lean, right? So your hormones are still going to tell you that this food is delicious.
Oh, it's like a religious experience. It's incredible, man. Like, and especially like my meals now, like I'll literally have, 1,400 calories like post-workout, like, and just being able to like devour a massive bowl of like cereal. Like, it's incredible, like a big fuck off stupid bowl of cereal, and it all fits. So then then my work day usually starts from, either 5:30, 6 a.m. And I'll literally work from, all I do now is morning clients. So all the hands-on work I do, I've pretty much front loaded it all from say 5:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., 11. So that's where I do all my hands-on PT. And I do that pretty much every day, which is really cool. So that's where I do all my work. I'll come home. I'll have another massive feed, pass out for an hour. Usually every day I'll nap for about half an hour to an hour. I'll get up, and it's literally like my body knows, okay, let's go. We got to walk. We got to get some steps in. And I'll literally just go out, and especially now in Perth where the weather is super warm. and obviously in my condition, I literally would just go walk with just shorts and shoes and just get heaps of sunlight and just be that weird guy who walks around the neighborhood with no fucking clothes on. So I can, and that could take me anywhere between like an hour and a half. Like I can easily walk hour and a half, 2 hours now, like with just, there is like no fatigue with anything I do. I feel so fit. I feel so, all my joints, man, like I've had no joint pain this entire time with Nath, which has been crazy, man. And I've, so I'll walk for a couple hours, get all my steps in, and usually by 3 p.m, I've got my 20,000 steps. I've done my cardio, done my resistance training, and I'll usually have my last meal at like 3:34. And then that's pretty much my day, and I'll just relax, chill out, and usually my body just starts to fall asleep at like 7 p.m, 7:30, and I'm out like a light. So that's my day.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't expect that, you know. You know when you say, talk me through your day, and you're like, yeah, so my day starts at 12:30 at night, 12:30 in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah. So look, at the end of the day, like, I've always been like a bit of an early riser. So I've been looking into a lot of this, a lot of the sleep stuff. My chronotype obviously is, very early riser and whatnot. But yeah, this is a little bit ridiculous that it has shifted so far back. And I definitely can shift it back to wherever I want. But I don't know, man, like considering all this, I've never felt better, like mentally, physically. It's just been insane. And the way, if you think about it, like our bodies don't know the time really, do they? It doesn't really. All it knows is certain things happen at certain times, and everything is just like functioning like clockwork. It's beautiful until I have to socialize. But
when did you find out you had this delayed circadian rhythm? How did you realize it was off?
Yeah. So it sort of started when I thought it was just because I was dieting like quite hard. So obviously you guys can probably relate that when you do diet, sleep does go a bit shitty, goes a bit weird, right? So and it started to like really happen. So my wake up times just got earlier and earlier and earlier, and then I just couldn't get back to sleep.
Sorry, Ivan, when was this? Just so
I would say it would have been like maybe a couple months in, Nath. What do you reckon?
Oh, this is all recent.
Relatively, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But again, I think it is also activity induced. Because especially when I started doing the daily cardio and the daily early morning training, right? I think the body just adapted to that, being like, cool, this is the time that he stresses his system quite hard. I'm going to start getting him up a little bit earlier. That was my interpretation. And again, like that clock just kept shifting back and back and back and back. And now, literally the other day I woke up at 1:30 a.m. I was like, fuck, slept in. This is fucked. So it definitely started like a few months back. But yeah, from what my GP said, she goes, it's completely fine. Like there's nothing wrong. You're not going to run into any health issues later on. You're still getting your sleep in. Your whole rhythm has just shifted. And if it suits your lifestyle and if it suits you and you're happy with it, you don't have to really worry about it health-wise. She was saying that the other way is a lot worse. So if it's the delayed version where you go to bed at like 3 or 4 a.m. and then you wake up, you got to wake up at like 8 and be a normal human being. She was saying that is a lot more detrimental to your health than the weird one that I've got. So yeah, it's and she reckons there's a huge genetic component to that as well, like how your chronotype expresses itself. And yeah, it was really good. I'm actually happy that she calmed me down a little bit. You know what I mean? So she could have easily just been like, just fucking take temazepam until you get your rhythm back. So
what was it like before?
I was still getting up, say like 3:30, 4 a.m.
Okay, got it. Because you've always been like a crazy early, right?
Just because of PT and stuff, yeah. So I'd always have the early starts, you guys would know that, being on the gym floor, being PTs back in the day, right? So I think one really smart thing I did when I started dieting, I was like, yep, I'm going to eliminate all my afternoon, evening shifts. Because I think as a PT, it's that morning and evening combo over like weeks and months that I think kills you. Hey, it's the hardest thing.
Oh yeah,
absolutely brutal. When you use all your energy up in the morning from 6 till 10, and you try and train or something like that, and then you come around in the evening, you've got nothing left in the tank, and all you want to do is go home and sleep. So,
Yeah, exactly. And that is hard enough when you're not dieting, right? Let alone when you are dieting down and everyone is starting to really frustrate and annoy you, every little thing, just can't you squat? What is wrong with you? Are you that immobile? It's a simple maneuver. But I think that was another smart thing that I did was I was very proactive on that front, because knowing that I was going to be really, really fucked by the end of the day, So moving, and it was funny, like when I mentioned that to clients, right? I was expecting a lot of like kickback, but they were like, no, that's okay. We'll just do Saturday morning or something, or, they'll accommodate if they want to hang around, which was really cool. So I think I ended up losing maybe 1 or 2 clients, but everyone else managed to accommodate my new schedule, which is, So again, I think this whole prep, this whole thing, again, the physical transformation has been great, but like how it's made me structure my day and how it's made me just super organized has been game changing, Very selfish, but
I think for PTs listening to this as well, like clients will recognize that you're doing something like they're doing it, and they will have empathy when they're doing something like that, when they're focusing on their health, they're focusing on their body fat. When you say you're doing something similar, the ones that actually have vested interest in you will show their colours. The ones that don't will often just be like, well, no, that's my time. And then they leave. Yeah. But then the ones that you stay for 6 months, the ones that stay for a year will always be the ones that are like, oh yeah, well, I see that you're doing that, I really empathize, or that's really good for you. Let's see what I can do with my diary. It's really good. You can find out your clients who actually are vested in you versus just using you for a service.
Exactly right. So yeah, man, it was it's been crazy. It's been good.
Amazing. And I realize we haven't actually given you the chance to introduce yourself. So, so
Ivan doesn't sleep, and he's really lean.
So why don't you tell the listeners who Ivan is?
So the only way to be shredded, guys, is to never sleep, never talk to anyone else, never socialize, sort of disengage from society completely, become a robot, and then you can do it.
So I hope the listeners realize that he is joking here.
My name's Ivan. I'm a PT, which I'm sure you guys probably would have known that by now. I don't know.
You're in Perth, right? You're in Perth, Australia.
Yeah, I'm in Perth. Yeah.
Have you always been there?
Yeah. Born and raised here. Parents are both Croatian, so I have that sort of blood in me. But just born and raised here in Perth. I'm in charge of educating other PTs. I know that sounds really funny, but I can actually do a pretty good job sometimes. And I also train people one-on-one in person as well. So no, not online yet.
That brings me to an interesting question, because you're a trainer and you're also a trainer of trainers. You educate other PTs. Why did you come to us? And why did you come to us as if you're already in a very good position as a trainer?
Yeah, this is good. That's a good question. I think, Akash, I heard you say in a recent podcast, which I think resonated really, really well, was that, if you're a coach and you don't hire a coach, you obviously don't respect what you do. You don't value what you do as a profession if you yourself are not willing to invest in a coach, right? And I was like, that is so fucking true. Every coach needs a coach. And yeah, again, like I do know things, but there's a very, very big difference between knowing and executing. And especially the things that Nathan made me do, which I wouldn't know, in regards to slashing calories super low. Actually, I'm going to backtrack a little bit. The article that made me sign up with you guys, again, like I was always thinking about signing up with you guys just because you guys were putting out really good content, and it was all just applicable, and it was all relatable to a lot of people. Was the one where you said you don't realize how low your calories have to go for you to get really, really lean, or how I think that could have been the same article or two separate ones. Was everyone's got like 10 kilos to lose, and people don't realize how fat they are.
How heavy will you be when you're lean?
My favorite ever article written by.
Yeah. It's that is literally that's what made me sign up. That's what made me made me fill out the form. Hey, where I was like, thank you, someone actually speaking the fucking truth. You know what I mean? Not seeing these drugged up physique athletes posting these photos of like, look how much food I eat and am lean because of that. You know what I mean? I'm sort of doing that now, but it's different.
The funny story, that article came about because we were sitting in a team call and we're just like, the old adage Akash likes to use is like, oh, when someone gets 10 kilos in, you send them an email and say, don't worry, 10 kilos more to go. And we're like, people don't know like how much they got to lose. We're sitting on a team call and people like, oh, this guy's dropped 10 kilos. And you're like, oh, what's the before and afters like? It's like, they haven't really changed. Or like people like, oh, I've only got 2 kilos to lose. It's like, no, that's probably 10. And it's like, we need to tell these people what they're doing and what their end goal is, because no one knows. Everyone thinks they're going to be 80 kilos and lean. I've had PT clients leave me when I was at my previous place because he couldn't be 95 kilos and lean. He was like, well, fuck it then, I don't want to do it. Seriously, this guy in Dubai goes, oh, yeah, I just want to be 95 kilos and lean. I'm like, what are you now? He's like 98. And I was like, okay, well, you're 25% body fat. So we dropped into 80 kilos, and he goes, so when am I going to get to 95? I was like, you're never going to get to 95. That's 15 kilos. That's 10 years worth of lifting. Or you could take, performance enhancing drugs, but you're not going to do that, and I don't endorse that. So let's just be 80 kilos and be happy.
Yeah.
But that didn't work for him. He just left.
Or I think just attaching yourself to a number already sets you up for something stupid, because again, like, I'm not going to lie. I thought, okay, get me down to 80 kilos. I'll be diced. Nah. I think the lowest I got down to was 75 and a half. I was like, fuck.
And Ivan, how tall are you? How tall are you?
186.
Okay, so that fits in line with my theory, which was for anyone above 5'11" should be between 70 and 80 kilos.
Yeah.
And they won't really get higher than 80 kilos. Yeah.
No. 80 kilos shredded is massive.
It's huge. People don't realize the biggest misperception people have is how much body fat they have and how little muscle mass they carry.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks they carry 80 kilos of muscle when in reality it's probably about 60.
Yeah. And especially towards the end of the dieting phase, face was drawn in. I was fucking hating everybody. I'm already quite direct and abrupt. So get me when I'm dieting, not fun. But people were like, hey, are you sick? Are you dying? You look fucked. It got to the point where I'd go, no, you're just fat and you don't realize how fat you are. Now leave me alone and fuck off. And give me a chicken and rice. Mum. Or when I was like, I've actually dropped 10 kilos, and people were like, what the fuck? Did you really have 10 kilos to lose? Where did you lose it from? It's because I hold my body fat in my lower body, right? In my legs. So, if you always have some sort of abs on display, people were like, oh, you must be like 6% body fat because you have your abs out all the time. I was fucking born with abs. It doesn't mean shit. You know what I mean? Like I had to really dig to get my legs lean, you know? And that was another reason I came to you guys as well, was like, I wanted fucking shredded legs, man. I've never ever had shredded legs in my life, you know? I thought there was some like magic secret. I thought there was, you know, if I rub some estrogen cream on them, they'll go. I never went down that route.
We all tried that. I thought the reason I never had lean legs at one point was because I had too much estrogen in my legs. So, and I blamed it on that. I thought, my hormones are messed up, so I'm not going to get lean.
We've all been to those facilities. I know you boys used to. I won't say it online. But yeah, I've also been at one of those facilities where I got sold so many supplements where nothing really happened. And that was another reason, was like, so that for me was always the last place for them to go. People were like, fuck, you had 10 kilos to lose, you know, or, you know, to Gen Pop, you have like one bicep vein. They're like, whoa, that is, you're shredded, man. And now I'm like a walking penis, and now I'm scary. Now people are like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, I mean, just so the listeners know, Ivan came to us, and when he first sent me his pictures, I thought, oh, this dude's already in good shape, right? But he said that he was at that point where he was lean, right? And he wanted to get shredded. And it was very much a case of him saying to us, look, I've got lean in the past, and I'm lean now, but I've never been, you know, dirty shredded and gone to that extreme level. That's where I want to go to. So when people are listening to this, just remember where he's coming from. And he's not coming from a position where he was like 25% body fat. He was in a position where he was lean, and he just wanted to go to that next level that he'd never been to before. And he knew if he got to that point, it not only, you know, satisfy his own personal goals, but it allow him to have that level of empathy with his clients, to be able to relate to them on any level possible. And also just to push himself in a way he'd never been before, and break kind of personal limits and boundaries you set on yourself previously.
That's exactly right. And another good post you've put up, Akash, as well, was like, signs of a good coach. You know what I mean? Is someone who's been there and done that. You know, you've walked that path of getting into ridiculous shape, you know, at least once. Again, I think every coach should do that. And I think one of the best quotes I've heard was from Nath, was that no one will respect you until you're really, really lean, at least once as a coach. And I was like, that is the greatest thing I've ever heard in my life.
It's only because I got told that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Someone told me that. I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah, it's fucking powerful though. You know what I mean? And to be fair, like even my own clients, or just people around the gym are like, man, that is incredible. You know what I mean? And especially now that I'm actually holding on to it, they're like, that is ridiculous. That's like, you're like a mutant. I was like, nah, I think we just did it in a really, really smart way, you know? And it was, I think the whole process. And again, like how my calories, considering, weren't that fucking low. You know what I mean? What do you reckon, Nate? You know,
nah, man, you've got bulking calories of some people. We opted for the exercise route of things. You know, everyone has their own method, and each individual is different. You were like, let's go to town on the exercise. That's fine, cool, let's do it. You know, if there's some way that you don't want to take calories down, it's always going to have to be, you know, exercise goes up, and you did that. You know, some people just don't have that time of day, but you know, I think personally, you know, this shows because all honestly, this reverse diet for me has been quite surprising as well. But if I was to do more now, it would always be that exercise side of things goes super, super high, or you keep it as high as possible for as long as possible until you're ready to kind of take your foot off the gas with food.
Yeah, because I think that's what you were saying earlier was your previous method was to be like, okay, we're going to reduce steps, we take out all the cardio, we bring food up, and you know, I think as we were discussing, it's like, well, you've already instilled these behaviors, right? Of doing the cardio, doing the training, doing the steps. And now you're going to be doing the same things, because obviously it's much easier to just maintain certain habits than it is to just, get rid of them. You could just be like, oh yes, finally less steps or less cardio. But again, I think I'll touch on a point later on, but I think for most people, it's about finding, if you do want to go down the energy expenditure route, find activities that you enjoy doing. You know what I mean? And that you actually, I was lucky enough that I developed some weird fetish for cycling. I did not, I did not see that coming at all. You know what I mean? And that's what's motivated me just to keep active. It's given me something to I love doing it, not because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get cardio so I can eat my calories and not put on fat. It's like, no. I do the cycling because I love the way it makes me feel, right? Or like I'll do the steps because I just love walking out and getting some sunlight and, listening to podcasts by you guys and, other really good resources. So it's not just me walking, it's me walking and learning and becoming a better coach, right? And obviously my own training as well is like, because it is, I think I should probably clarify as well. My training is more gymnastics based. It's more performance based. So again, every training session I do, it has like a performance outcome that I'm chasing. So I'm not just heading in there and being like, got to pump my biceps, or I got to pump my legs, or which again just can, not so boring, right? And another caveat as well, like I don't do heavy leg training. I know, sorry boys, please don't cut me off. So which again I think allows me to train so frequently because I don't really damage them. You know what I mean? I don't develop that huge systemic fatigue of which heavy leg training does. So I can literally day in, day out, hit the gym. Like my training frequency is 7 days a week. I'm just going to clarify that with everybody. But again, my per session volume is never super high. Like I always cap my sessions at 1 hour max, or 1 hour and a half max. Same as my cardio, and whatever I can do in that time, fantastic. Especially when I was dieting down, like I would let performance dictate how hard I would go that day. If I could do weighted chin-ups the week before for a certain amount of reps, and now I could only do half of that, okay, you need a fucking deload, do something else. And that was sort of how I regulated my training the entire time. And funnily enough, this is 7 days a week training the last, 3-4 months, no joint pain, no injuries, no nothing. And this was while dieting, right? This was while dieting. Still kept all my mobility. So I still got, I still had all my splits, still had all that sort of stuff without really training him. No joint pain, I never got sick the entire time, which was really interesting. I got sick once. I had like gastro once, still managed to get my steps in that day. But other than that, the entire period of daily training, heaps of cardio, relatively minimal food, never really suffered as much as most people do, which I think is a little bit weird, but I'll take it.
Yeah, everyone's so individual with how they respond to dieting. And I've learned that some people are going to suffer really hard and some people feel great. Like some people actually just feel great the leaner they get. And, of course, there's a certain point where you feel great when you're lean. And then there's another point where you get even leaner and you normally feel worse. Whereas I think you said you kept feeling great. Every time I speak to you, you said, oh, yeah, I'm so happy. I feel so great, so energetic. And Nathan, I remember Nathan telling me what you were doing. And I was thinking, how's he doing this? I
don't know. Yeah. I don't know. It literally. But then now sort of coming out of that diet and looking like in hindsight, I was just pushing the envelope hard at sometimes though. You know what I mean? Like, or my patience for people or how I was speaking to people as well. Like definitely where I fell was, how I was communicating and just very abrupt, very rude, very, sort of food focused. But just the dips of, some days you feel awesome. And then some days with no change, you just feel like fucking shit, you know. That was definitely more for, but now, like, yeah, with this increase in food and stuff like that, yeah, and that none of that is apparent at all, you know. So I think I was suffering, but, you know, when you sort of, it's just like sleep deprivation. You don't know how stupid you are until you have a good night's sleep, right? And then you're like, okay, I was very sleep deprived, but you don't feel it until a certain threshold, you know. So I think it's a good like safety mechanism. I think the human brain has done wonders for that. So yeah, that was probably the biggest. Those were the biggest issues that my dieting, that the whole experience was, which was, yeah, towards the end I was getting a bit irritable, which is fine. A lot more sleepy, a lot more tired, but, you know, pretty small price to pay now. So
what was your journey like with your physique and your training out before, like over the years? How long have you been training for? And has it always been gymnastic based?
So what's that?
Has it always been gymnastic based? No.
So I should probably clarify that as well.
So how did it evolve over the years?
How did it evolve? So I was working with Menno for a while, Menno Henselmans, which was an awesome experience as well. And I'm sure you guys know, you know, he's a high frequency sort of guy. Very, very knowledgeable, very, very smart. Where's Nathan gone? Toilet. So that's what sort of got me into. That's what sort of built the behaviors of the high frequency training. So I actually remember, I think I trained, it would have been over 500 days in a row with, and this was full body days every day. Right. And, yeah, that was a pretty large experiment. This is before I got into the gymnastic stuff. And as I'm sure you could probably predict, my joints weren't very happy with all that, you know. So this was heavy loading. My RDLs got up to 200 kilos for 10.
200?
Stuff like that.
200 for 10?
No, wow. It's not the sort of, the RDLs that I was doing was more, have you guys seen Eric Helms' version of the RDL? No, I was actually going to send you guys a link on that. The way he explains, you know, the sort of the hip hinge mechanics and, you know, going anything below just the kneecap, you're not really hip hinging anymore. You're flexing from your spine. Well, the movement's coming more from your lower back than your hips. So I know you guys go real low with your RDLs. So sort of like mid shin.
Yeah, I go pretty low. Yeah.
Yeah, you do go pretty low. And they're fucking hectic RDLs. But if you watch Eric Helms' vid, he'll actually explain why going any lower than below the knee for most people just doesn't seem to work your hip hinge anymore. Than say, yeah, just going below the knee, you're going to be working your hip hinge maximally. Going below like mid shin or lower, you're sort of just using more of your back, and you're not really working the hip hinge anymore. What's fatiguing you seems to be your lower back, you know. So again, that was the way I was doing RDLs, which was probably why I could move huge numbers, right? So that was, yeah. So heavy squatting, heavy. I think my Bulgarian split squats got up to like 46 kilo dumbbells each arm for like sets of 8. It was, it was ruthless, man. So this was like taking every set like 1 rep shy of failure. It was brutal. So I did this for like 1.5 years, and that's when my joints I couldn't even run across the street without my knees hurting or my hips hurting. My shoulders were cooked. Everything was fucked, you know. I think Menno's actually gone back a little bit and was like, I think he's changed his approach a little bit in regards to saying like, looking back now, like if you're going to do the ultra high frequency, like you're not going to be doing the power lifts that much. You'll be doing a lot of machine stuff. You'll be staying relatively shy from failure. So yeah, I think he's taken a bit of a turn on that now because not many people's joints could survive all that, you know. So yeah, that's what I was doing before I started the gymnastic stuff. And the reason I started it was because, well, fuck, my joints are cooked. Like, I'm not really getting any more satisfaction out of this weight training. I'm always banged up, you know. For me to warm up for half an hour to do some heavy RDLs, you know, once you get to those big numbers, right, your whole day revolves around your training session. You're like, fuck, I got a big heavy squat day today, or got a big heavy RDL day today. And yeah, it was just like, I think for me, I need to pursue another goal. Right. And yeah, that's where I got into the gymnastics world, and the bodyweight world, because I had to be a beginner again. And I like being shit at something and then becoming good at it, So yeah, I naturally went towards that side of training, due to just being banged up all the time and being hurt. And yeah, no real improvements in my physique. As I've told Nathan numerous times, with all the leg training I've done, all this, all the heavy squats, all the heavy RDLs, all the awesome, big lifts, all the big ego lifts, taken to complete failure, being a mad dog, my legs have never, ever looked better than they do now, which is literally just from cycling. But then again, I have spent those years building up a lot of muscle in the legs, right? So I think it's a lot easier to maintain them than it is to grow new tissue. But so yeah, that was prior to the bodyweight stuff. And just prior to that, man, it was just a lot of bodybuilding, a lot of physique stuff, a lot of John Meadows stuff. I just went from sort of looking how other people did things. But I was always into training. I was always into physique optimization, trying to find the best method of training for me. I've done all of it. I've done reverse pyramiding. I've done train to complete failure, high rep deadlifts, high rep squats, like widow makers, until I fucking spewed, all that fun stuff, So yeah, I think what I've got now though is perfect. Everything just feels on point. Like I look my best, I feel my best. My attitude towards training and just life in general is the greatest it's ever been. And I don't think you can ask much more than that, from exercise. I think that's what it should give you, not be some form of punishment where you just destroy your soul for the sake of the iron.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Yeah.
I think your relationship with training is something that's not spoken about much, because a lot of people have a bad relationship with training, and that it becomes the complete focus of the day, and that you wake up and you're like, shit, I've got squats today, and then you can't focus on anything else but the fact that you got to squat X amount for X amount of reps. I mean, that's how I used to be like that. And
yeah, it's fucking daunting, hey.
Yeah, it just fills you with anxiety the whole day, because you're thinking, shit, I've got to do this squat.
I know. And like, if you have to get yourself like so worked up, man, like I remember, because obviously being a PT, we have our own gym, and like, it would be like this big monumental thing of like, oh, big squat today, boys. Oh, I got to do it. I would get onto like the Sonos system and crank like, do you guys used to watch Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah.
Like I used to crank like Vegeta's theme song. When Vegeta used to come on the screen, he had that like real ominous theme song, man. I used to like crank that throughout the entire gym before I would go for like a heavy squat, man. And I was just like, oh, just stupid shit, man.
But at the same time, it was so much fun doing that, right?
It was fun.
You live for it. You live for it, but after a while, you're kind of like, I don't know how long I can do this.
I know.
Before I break another bone.
But then to be like, I don't really look any better though.
Yeah. Yeah, you just do it for the fun of it. You don't really do it for the physique element. You just do it because it gives you that period of time in the day where you can just switch off and go crazy.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, that was ramping up my nervous system like crazy, obviously. And so I just I'm a bit of an extremist. Obviously, you guys probably know that. So I do like to experiment. I do like to do weird shit. I think, and again, another thing that I've found recently is all the stuff that I'm doing now. Like if you looked at that on a piece of paper, you would be like, not optimal. Cardio before weights, that is ridiculous. You're not going to benefit from your strength training. What are you doing? You can't do intervals every day. I've done intervals every single day the last 5 weeks. I feel fine. My legs feel fine. They don't feel sore. They actually have improved. Like my performance has been improving consistently. And that is the way I gauge my progress. Is like, okay, if I have been overcooking it, my performances are still improving, right? So yeah, it's been insane.
So I think it's important to know that you're very in tune with your body, and you know what biofeedback to pay attention to. For most people, they don't know that, right? And they won't be able to tell whether they've done too many intervals in a week or you know whatever it is. And you've built yourself up to be able to do this for over a long period of time. So
yeah, exactly.
That's an important caveat to have here when you're discussing this.
100%. This is why everything that I'm talking about today, I don't want any listeners to just be like, oh, I'm going to do what he does. No.
Yeah, I'd say this whole podcast is pretty much do not try this at home.
Yes, please do not sacrifice your social life to be shredded if you value your social life.
Yeah. Which brings me on to another point, and I know you said you'd be happy to talk about it, and it was something you mentioned in an email, in that you're previously a very deep introvert, and you've had some struggles about this in the past, and I think it'd be good to share with the listeners, because I'm sure there'll be a lot of people who can relate to this, in what some of your struggles were with this, and how you've learned to ultimately become comfortable with this to make it an actual advantage for you.
Yeah, perfect. Good question, man. I've always sort of known I am quite introverted, meaning that I do like my own time. I'm very, 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 very comfortable on my own. If I'm around too many people for too long, I do get really drained out. I do get really exhausted. And it's nothing against them. Like, it can even be with my best friend. Like, even with my best mate, I'll have to be like, yeah, I'm done, ready to go home. So I know I've always sort of been that way, and everyone always talks about I haven't been in a relationship in the last, I don't know, I'm 29 now. My last proper relationship with a female, which again society told me was what I needed to do, was since I was about 22, 23. So yeah, that's almost 6 years of like a proper, that I would say it was an actual connection, right? So that's a long time, but within that time, I've actually, especially these days, and I think these days especially because I am so comfortable with who I am as a person, I've never been happier. Like, even when I was with this person where I was like, wow, this is like the epitome of life, being with this person. Even then, I wasn't that happy, if that made sense. You know what I mean? Like, if anything, it gave me, I was like, oh fuck, do I have to do this? Do I have to do that? What if I do this? What if I do that? It was more anxiety producing than anything, right? I don't know. It was a strange thing, because I thought, oh wow, I'm with this dream girl. On the surface we look like something that everyone would love to be, and it's like, wow, they're such a beautiful couple. Look at them, blah blah blah. And to be fair, like, and again, like, maybe it was the wrong person or whatever. This is what everyone always tells me. It's like, when you find the right person, you'll know. I'm like, okay, cool. But even at that time, I never felt like it was me being me. It always felt like it was, I'm not going to say a chore, because that's probably the wrong word to use. But it never felt just flowy. It never felt like natural. It never felt like, yeah, this is what I want. I love, like, I thrive off being around you. I've never ever had that with anyone, to be fair. Like, I've always thrived off being on my own. I know that sounds probably really, really odd to a lot of people. I get it. I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of people being like, what the fuck's wrong with you? You're a fucking weirdo. How can you just go home on your own? I was like, I love it, man. I've nothing. ask my friends, like, I am the ghost. There's nothing more I love than ghosting a party. There is, it's being like, everyone just thinks I've gone to the bathroom. Nope. I've just gone straight home. You know what I mean? And the thing is, though, like, the close friends I do have, they do know who I am, and they don't judge me for that. They still love spending time with me. I still love spending time with them. They just know that time is limited. And whatnot. So yeah, I've just always been very independent. I've never ever had to rely on anyone for my own happiness, which is really cool. Again, for a long time, I thought there was something wrong with me. I thought there was something that I was like, this is not normal, dude. Like, it's human nature. And you look at like evolution, you look at, being someone like myself, how is that evolutionarily advantageous? You know what I mean? When you think about it, like we've always worked in teams, we've always worked together as a human race. So I was like, fuck, what is wrong with me? Why do I hate people so much? But then after a while, man, I was just like, you know what? I just started to sort of embrace it and live it and be like, look, this is who I am. I am an introvert. Yes, I love my own training. Like there is no better part of my day than that first half of the day where I am doing my training, completely separated from the whole aesthetics thing or vanity or whatever it is. The joy that it gives me, and the sort of sense of fulfillment that it gives me is second to none. It is like the biggest dopamine serotonin hit ever, So yeah, that sort of, that stuff just, really, really gets me off, and it's literally, the best part of my day. And that might sound sad for a lot of people. But to be fair, like I see a lot of people who do live this perfect life of I've got a relationship, I've got a house, I've got the dream job, yet are miserable. They are miserable. And I know they're miserable because they tell me, right? I train those sort of people too, So yeah, it's really interesting. And I think, I would say for all you other introverts out there listening, don't try to be something that you're not. Embrace it and fucking own it and use it to your advantage to get the most shredded physique that you possibly can, because it will help. It will help a lot. And again, like, even I've spoken to a few people about this as well. Another psych as well. I haven't formally spoken to her, but I do know her as a friend, and she was just like, like things like loneliness, they're not something that just because you're on your own, you can be on your own and not feel lonely, right? Or you can be around thousands of people all the time and still feel lonely. So I never ever feel lonely, if that makes sense. I always feel really good, which is, I know it might be hard for a lot of people to believe or whatever, but I don't know, man. I'm very content with the way I live my life. I think I'm living my life according to my own values, according to what I believe. And yeah, it's a really, really good feeling. And that really came to fruition just recently when I messaged Nay, where I was on a boat party, trying to socialize, doing what socializing, being all happy and dandy. And then I was just like, man, you know what? This is really not who I am. You know what I mean? And obviously everyone around me was partying, and I used to party a lot back in the day as well, to try to fit into that mold of, you're young, you need to go out, you need to really, party and meet people and all that stuff, which was fun. But, I had to take copious amounts of other things to enjoy myself, which I won't get into today. But yeah, I was put in a very similar environment recently, and I was like, this is just not who I am. I don't want to do this shit. Get me off this boat. I hate these people. They're all freaks. Yes, I know I'm shredded. Leave me alone. And I literally just wanted to go home. I literally went home at like 6, had an awesome dinner, went to bed early as I do, and woke up and just got back into my training while my friends were still partying until 6 a.m., 9 a.m. the next day, not knowing where they were. So, yeah. And I was like, I'm glad I'm not there.
When did you have this realization that you knew what made you tick?
I knew for a while. I would say a good couple of years, but I've never really wanted to admit it, because it's just so frowned upon, right? It's so taboo. Or the worst is when I hear people who are very very well respected in the industry talking about people like myself as just like social lepers, and it's people like me that are wrong with the fitness industry, because it's like you portray you're not, people are not fucking robots and this and that, or like the sort of image is very, very catastrophized, if that makes sense. So hearing people that I respect a lot, like Eric Helms and all these other people saying getting comp lean and staying there is just not feasible, and it's just stupid, and you're just going to destroy yourself, and being like a social hermit, just using language that condescends the lifestyle, if that makes sense. Like it's now, living a fitness lifestyle is now looked at as someone who is socially inept, and he doesn't, or he lives his life out of Tupperware, or all he does is train. It's so selfish, versus, well, if that's what he likes fucking doing, and that gives him value, and he still contributes to society in a meaningful way, why is what he does so bad, right? So I think the pendulum always swings in the fitness industry, you know what I mean? And people are talking about balance and this and that, and or looking at people like myself and being like, well, he's just a social recluse, like he's got nothing going for him. It's like, man, I'm the happiest I've ever been right now, So I don't know. And obviously when you hear stuff like that, you hear conflicting things like that, it makes you not want to live that life. I've always wanted to be fucking shredded and live as a shredded human being. I wanted to be Helmut Strebel. You know what I mean? Like, and yeah, people would always, a lot of people that we respect are always like, nah, that's not a sustainable way to live. You're always going to be food focused. You're going to feel like shit all the time. Like, you guys have heard that as well, being that lean is not sustainable. And that is the message that you get sent to you all the time,
I mean, I think the big thing for me is, I think what we say is, whatever you do has got to fit your lifestyle.
Yeah,
and I think that's the key bit. I mean, if being shredded was what you wanted to, but it was completely counter to your daily lifestyle, then it's not sustainable and it's going to make you miserable. But if it fits your lifestyle and you enjoy it and you genuinely enjoy it, which you clearly do, then fine. There's no judgment there, and that's what you want to do. But it just depends on who you are as a person, and as long as what you want to achieve and what you do and the way you do it is in tune with your lifestyle and can make it sustainable in the long run, then that's all that matters.
Yeah, I think there's a really good thing that a lot of people don't get from training, but you're getting, and that is like skill acquisition.
Yes.
And yes. And the fulfillment that you get from this is if everyone knows, like learning a new skill, like the gymnastics, the iron cross, what Ivan's trying to do as one of his biggest goals, is effectively you hold your hands out to the side and maintain all your body weight on your shoulders, and it's ridiculous.
And elbows.
People do it and spend like 15 years doing it, 10 years doing it. Like, I've got gymnastics friends that competed for Great Britain, and they only learned it when they were 16, and they did it when they started gymnastics when they were 4.
Yeah.
This kind of skill acquisition is equivalent of like learning a new language, or learning how to cook, or I never knew how to ride a bike. This is what Ivan's getting every time he goes to the gym. He's getting a new like bow to his layer, and he gets value out of that. So he has found his why. He has found his what he wants from his life at this moment in time, and he's getting a massive fulfillment from doing what he wants to do and having found that. I think a lot of people, because of the social environment that we live in and based around, we want to fit in, will do things that they don't want to do, and they kid themselves to do that. Some people, you walk into a job and you pick up the traits, so you pick up the things that people are doing around. Oh, you want to play football on Tuesday night? Probably not, but I'm going to do it because I fit in socially. Or, I go to the pub on a Thursday night. Do I actually want to go in the heart of hearts? Probably not, but do I feel like I'm going to miss out on a social experience, or, do things because other people want to? And that's what you're getting. You're getting skill acquisition in your own way. And I did the same thing. When I did gymnastics when I was 4 till about 12, and then some adult gymnastics. And to be honest, if I'm looking back on my training, I've always missed that when going into a weight training session, because once you're exposed to a high neurological environment and a high enriching, teaching, skill acquisition environment, weight training never feels the same, because it's quite robotic and you're doing the same movement patterns over and over again. And then I found my mojo again when I did MMA, because you go back to being a beginner, you go back to being absolutely rubbish at something, get your ass handed to you by guys that are 30 kilos heavier than you, rolling on top of you. And that kind of, it's a humbling experience, but again, that's just a skill acquisition, learning something new and getting fulfillment out of that. I've never felt more buzzing after a training session, learning to do a handstand and actually submitting someone in grappling and wrestling. They were my two biggest highs after a training session. I was just tired and sleepy after I did IRDL 160 for 5.
Yeah.
And I didn't get it. I was like, yeah, I posted it on the video, and I was like, yes. And then I was like, well, I'm not going to be able to do that again for a while because I'm absolutely knackered. But I think the fulfillment and finding like skills, some people can take away and be like, oh, well, I don't want to do gymnastics, I don't want to do that. But, find a skill that you want, whether it's to learn a new language or learn how to cook, find things that fulfill you and fill your day full of them.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's that pursuit of skill acquisition and always jacked and always mate, you fucking nailed that. That's exactly right. And I reckon that is what motivates me and that's what keeps me going, right? And yeah, it's not just going to the gym mindlessly, right? It's going into the gym with a purpose and, being that one step closer to a skill, right? And also, just to clarify again, guys, me being this lean helps what I do. Yeah. Being lighter is going to help with my iron cross. Being lighter is going to help with just how everything looks, right? Nothing looks worse than when you see a big dude trying to do a handstand. It just looks fucking disgusting. I don't care how awesome your glutes are. I don't care how jacked you are. You look fucking stupid, So in this game, you're no, but like the things that you do, they have to look aesthetically pleasing, right? That's, toes pointed, arms locked out, all that stuff that looks real pretty and clean. You can't do that being a big fucking muscle bound fucking chode. You have to look lean and aesthetic. You know what I mean? And again, that is the physique that I'm chasing as well is, I'm not trying to build my legs to look massive, right? And that's another thing. I'm not actually trying to build muscle. So for you guys who are listening, who want to stay lean, you got to understand, what Akash and Nath always talk about is you have to be comfortable getting fluffy if you want to put on muscle mass, right? So if you're a bodybuilder, yes, being shredded all year round is fucking dumb because you're not going to progress as a bodybuilder. At this point in time in my life, I'm almost 30. I'm happy with the amount of muscle mass I got. I don't really care for growing anymore, which is a good place to be. Especially as a natural, especially as, just again, now I have found the physique that I want to stay at. I'm happy to, again, it's advantageous for me to have smaller legs in what I want to be doing. Right. So just to clarify that as well, again, I don't want people to think that, oh, cool, I can just stay shredded all year round. Well, no, if your goals if you still need to put on muscle mass, please do not stay shredded all year round. That's fucking stupid.
Yeah, I'm so happy you said that.
Yeah. So I just wanted to clear that up as well. Like my training, being lean helps. Being lighter helps. But yeah, if you want to put on tissue, you have to get comfortable being a bit of a fluff ball. So, but yeah, no, Nath, I think you smashed that actually. That is exactly what it is. It's that skill acquisition. I never even thought of that actually.
Yeah, you nailed it. Where did he pull that one out from?
I don't know. He's fucking Nathan, mate. He always does this.
I haven't heard that one either. That big speech. I don't know. He must have been preparing that all morning.
Do you know what? It's because I feel the same. I have the same empathy from when I did my gymnastics. If anyone's listening to this that has never done anything where they're a beginner again for a long period of time, go and try something that's new. And the reason why we avoid it is because we suck at it. And doing something new and doing something that's very high skill is so neurologically enriching. So I think it's such a different ball game when it comes to what you're exposed to.
So Ivan, what would you say to anyone who's thinking of starting with RNT in 2019?
Oh, yeah. Again, if you do want to be pushed outside of your comfort zone, if you want to do things that you thought were not possible, and again, if you just want to work with a bunch of cool dudes, the service I've had with Nathan has been incredible. Like I think, Nathan, how many nudes do you reckon you've got from me over the last few months?
Not enough. No, I mean, I think there must be about 45, I think. 45 pictures.
But yeah, again, if you want a coach that's going to keep you accountable, and again, like I really appreciate just the ease of access it is to get in contact with you guys as well, and just how liberal you are with your time. And just again, if you guys want to hire coaches who, want you to achieve your goal more than you do, RNT is definitely the way to go, man. For what you guys offer, for what you guys offer, you're very reasonably priced compared to others in the industry. The service you provide, the content you provide, the community that you guys have is fucking phenomenal. Like your Facebook pages, the information that you guys give to your members as well. Again, like I think the whole community that you guys have built is incredible, and I think it's very welcoming to a lot of people. I think it's very comforting for a lot of people. You guys don't sit on high horses. You don't act superior at all. I would highly recommend hiring you guys to anyone. You know what I mean? Like I actually get my clients to listen to a lot of your podcasts, especially the ones who are keen on learning this sort of stuff. I actually got one. I've also got one Asian client, Akash, who I think both. Who, but I sent him to you guys. I sent him to get information from you guys. And I think there was one interview you did that was really interesting where you said the response to training with that ethnicity is very different compared to Caucasians. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense, man. Like, because that's what I see in practice too, So it's crazy. But that's what I would say for RNT, man. Like you guys are just fucking really good at what you do. Really good at what you do. And you seem to have a really, really good team, really good members. You get results. Like that's probably the thing. I should have said that from the fucking start. You get results with everybody, man. Like, and from all walks of life. I think I was telling Nathan, I was like, man, like all these people who have these ridiculously hectic, busy lives. Like I was looking through that thread of when people were posting up their jobs, and I was like, man, I am so compared to these people, hey, like these are like geniuses, who got these such high-end, high-stress jobs. And the way that you guys manage that and get fucking incredible results with those sort of people, like that is, in my eyes, the epitome of good coaching. Because if you can get results with those people, you can get results with anyone, So.
Amazing. Let's finish off with one other question I wanted to ask you is who should we get on the podcast next? Because I know you're a big fan of the podcast. Who would you like to see on our podcast? And this can be anyone, as long as it's within reason.
Fuck. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Do you know who I like? I love the barbell medicine guys.
The who? Sorry? Barbell who?
Jordan Feigenbaum, Austin Baraki. Have you heard of them?
No, I never heard of them.
Really, they have I think they're medical doctors who also love just heavy barbell lifting and coaching. So they're very into, I love their ideas on pain and injury management. Like that's a really, really, the way they seem to conceptualize it makes the most sense to me from what I've seen. Very, very evidence-based. They like to dispel a lot of myths. Really, really intelligent dudes, but yeah, man, those guys would be awesome to have on the podcast. But if that would suit your audience, just in regards to like pain and all that, really cool.
Cool. Where can people find you?
Yeah. Where can people find me? I'm not that vocal on social media. I'm pretty quiet, but if you are ever in Perth and you want to come for like a 1 a.m. training session, just hit me up and we can go for a cycle.
Before we leave talking about cycling, I just wanted to mention one thing: is that during this process, Ivan has asked some all weird and wonderful questions all the way through this. But I think the one thing that I just wanted to highlight on the podcast is that for those people doing a lot of cardio and a lot of bike stuff, Ivan had an issue where he sat on the bike for quite a long period of time and thought his nether region wasn't working for a while because of the diet. He was like, "Oh no, the diet must be, the calories are too low. My genitals aren't working anymore." And then And what he'd realised is that he was sitting on a nerve on his bike for an hour.
Oh my God.
It's called the pedental nerve, by the way, guys. You never want to be compressing that. You know, I literally could not feel my penis for days on end. It was, but I was like, worth it. No.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So if you guys are ever going to get into your cycling, trust me, go to someone who can set up your bike really, really well for you. And yeah, make sure you actually sit on your sit bones, not on your gooch.
Oh my God.
Bro tip.
We have to end on that one. Sorry.
Amazing. So if you enjoyed today's trials and tribulations with Ivan and hearing about his 1 a.m. wake up times.
Hopefully that was useful, man.
Yeah, very useful. So if you enjoyed today's episode with Ivan, please share it with your family and friends. For more information, please visit www.rntfitness.co.uk. And for socials, hit us up on @RNT_fitness on Instagram. Thanks for listening.